Make ready. Present. Fire.
Okay, now I know it's been a while. I've had played plenty of games, just haven't got anything. But I thought this would kind of be a fun, something pretty simple and easy to do. That might actually record very well. It's not too heavily complicated. Rules are pretty simple. But if you're wondering what this is the Civil War, Clash of Giants Civil War. I am currently playing the Battles of the Second Bull Run. So we've got that. So I've got something new, so I'm hoping that maybe it might be a little bit easier. You can kind of see part of it. So we'll see how this goes. I know I can move in pretty easy on this. And it's actually pretty solid. So we'll see how it works out. So I've set up for the first turn. I've already done replacements. I've already had a delay. So one of the things you have to do is you have to roll for a delay for your reinforcement or for replacement. So if we go down here, Hooker is set up in here because you'll actually decided to set up in Manassas Junction. So that automatically meant during the setup that Hooker would start here. Well, I was supposed to have Kearney come in. So here is the chit. 1E, so first turn in here. So what you do is you roll on a 1 through 4. He comes in on that time. On a 5, he comes in 1, but he will come in on F. But he comes in 1 turn later. On a 6, he comes in 2 turns later, and he comes in on D, all the way over here. So, unfortunately, he's been pushed back 2 turns. Now, when he does come in, he automatically comes in here. I don't have to roll for him again. So that's kind of nice. This is a chit pull system. Also, you will roll for movements. And as you can see here, that's the Confederate side here. Well, we actually have, you know what, this is going to be better if I make it a little bit. We have the Union side here. I can't believe I forgot that. What happens is I will roll a dice. Whatever I roll, I'll either have 4, 6, or 8 movement points when their chit is pulled. Now, there are other chits here. So we have our artillery chits, and these will actually help. Now, what's kind of fun about, so this will be a +1 die roll. Come on. So this would be a +1 die roll to the combat. Now, you can only combat once per turn. When you do, you have this combat chit here. It'll go in combat, taken for the round. So that's kind of one of those things you need to make sure everything's set up before you head off and do some combat. So just because you get activated does not mean you can combat. Activation just means moving. So with that, it is a 17 turn. There's 2 night turns. So I'll make sure to get those. The one nice thing is, and I'll be honest with you, the rule book's only 12 pages long. And this one's design notes and everything like that. So sometimes short rule books are good, sometimes they're not. So it'll be interesting to see how it all turns out. So with this, we've only got 1 turn. It's going to be a relatively short turn. Now what happens is I will pull out the chits here, and there's only going to be 3 chits. There's only the first turn. There's only going to be 4 pulls. Yeah, 4. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so I was right. So a player may choose a single combat action each turn after moving all currently active units. The combat action allows attacks by all friendly eligible units, not those currently activated. Combat action may involve mandatory attacks. Okay, so with that, so what you can do is at any point you can play your combat action chit, but you can only do that once per turn. So you have to wait till either it's over with, or you've moved everything, or you've moved who you need to move. Because you got to remember that once you use it, you can't attack again until that turn's is over. So it makes it real interesting. Now, there are CSM markers, and I'll show you one here in a minute. But there are no CSM markers for the Union, but there are one. Is there one? Two. No, one. It only gets to be used once. They's actually got that. They's. Geez, come on. There are actually three. There's a Longstreet Union, which you can only use that once per game. A Stuart, which is again only once. That may be activated once per turn, along with just drawn CSA formation. That works out. It's held out of the cup, so you at the beginning of each turn you can use it once, and then Jackson may be used once each turn in place of any just activated formation of Jackson's wing. They add a +1 DRM to combat command roll that in that formation, so he's gonna get that. Now, it's the battle book. That's the problem. There's two rule books here because these rules are pretty simple. But as usual, like with most setups, you have to, or with most modular or series games, there's always exceptions and things to make it work. So sometimes that's not bad, sometimes it's good. Would have rather just had it in one book. It would have been a little bit easier. So with this, an activated unit's activated by a CSM. So where's Jackson's? So this is a CSM. And this is a Jackson. So if he gets activated, if you use him, that formation can actually attack, but only used the ones that were activated. So, and you can't use a combat action during that activation. With that, so we've got all that. So I was just reading some of the rules. There's some few exceptions on these first 6 turns we have up here for Pope. For Pope's units, they have to move up. They have to use road movement all the way up to Centerville, which will be interesting because they can't move into a zone of control. And they can't. They can be released if a Confederate unit moves adjacent, but also they can be released once somebody gets up to Centerville. They have to use it. Almost all of them come in on E, unless for some reason they get E or I, so they could come out of H or J. But they can't use this road, except Reynolds. Reynolds the only one of the 3rd Corps that is not, and he comes in on turn 3, so or potentially on turn 3 depending on the delay. So he'll come in from there. Now, let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, I already did this. So, artillery special command marker phase. We've got those. So we're gonna go ahead and see what we pull out. This turn's going to go quick, and it's probably going to be pretty boring. So there's not going to be much to do it. Okay, so the first one is Ewell. So what I do with that, I'll put him over here, and then I have to roll. So I'm going to go ahead and roll. You got a 5. So a 5 would be 8 movement points. Now, you'll ended up with 8 movement points. Thing is he is right here. And he really, working more on the defensive side. Now, he sees Hooker's here, so what could we do? So we could make it easier. Hooker does not have to follow the roads. These are all clear, so there could be one. It might be a good idea to move. Shoot. So each unit can move 8 movement points. A forest or woods is 2 movement points, and Cav may not enter or except by road. Clear is 1 movement point. You can easily go here. Railroads, just curious here. Other terrain, so that's going to be 1 movement point. Okay. What I think we'll do is we're going to activate this guy. You have to be within 4 hexes, 3 enter, to be in range and not out of command. If you're out of command, that's a different story. We'll see how that goes. I don't think that'll be too much of an issue. So, okay, but I think what we'll do is we're going to move. So that's only 1. And 1, 2, 3. I think that'll be good. He is going to stay here to protect. And there we go. So that's that one. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Now we move on to the next one. Oh, so now we do have Hooker. Okay, so Hooker, let's roll the dice. It is a 1. That is not good. A 1 ends up being 4 movement points, which, when you come down to it, shouldn't be too bad. Now, stacking on this game is only 2 units, is 2 units. So Hooker has 2, 4. And I should probably talk about the units. So there's some things on here. So this is a 2-step unit. It has a TER, or which is effective rate. Tactical effective rate, I think is what it is. I'll look it up here in a second. Of 4. When you do a combat, the defender rolls their own dice and the attacker rolls their own dice. And if you roll above this, so if I rolled a 4, a 5, or 6, I would have to take a step hit and then flip it over. And as you can see, it's still the same. Some of them are different, but it's still the same. Which makes that reduced unit, and then it's gone. Let's see here. So this one's a 3. It stays a 3, but it doesn't have as many. Now, so what I'm going to do is I have 4 movement points. Likelihood of me attacking here is not good. That gives a no defensive bonus. No defensive modifier. So the woods won't matter too much. Must have not been too thick, which I don't think there was that much thick. So, but the steps are what matters when you're combating odds. With this, you would have, I'm going to pull this out here so you guys can see this. So we have the odds. If you are at 1-to-1, there's no DRM, so that's the attacker, that's a defender. If you notice, it's not a CRT anywhere. So that's the thing. Now, the attacker still could lose all their units, so they have to roll for each of them. The higher the odds we get, the less possibility of losing it. And you only have to roll for that number. So if you had 5 units attacking, but you were at, let's say, a 2-to-1, the most you could lose was 4. So you only have to really roll on 4 of the units. You always can keep the 5th one. So that's interesting. That's slightly different. Okay. So let's go ahead and go back down here. Okay, so what are we going to do? So we're going to go ahead. We're going to go. So I can move 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and do that. Now I can actually call attack, which I think I will. So, because mainly this is my last one. So I'm done activating all my units for this turn. I'm going to move the combat unit, and I'll show you here. So it's going into combat round taken. Boom, done. And then we'll go back down here, and then we'll figure out some odds here. Now this is going to be pretty easy here. His strength or step is 2. 2, so 4 to 2, that's 2 to 1. Now on the 2 to 1, okay, make sure we get this here. On the 2 to 1, rolling for my guys, I will get a -1. The defender rolling for theirs will get a +1. There is no defensive modifiers. So now all natural 6s are treated as a 6, and 1s, natural dies of 1s and 6 ignore all DRMs. Not a big deal on. So a 6 is a 6. Now if it gets up there, so if you're getting more of the 2 to 3, or where you're getting -2, -3s, or -3s, that can make a difference. Because if you rolled a 6 -3, you have a 4, it's below, but a natural 6 does not make a difference. Now, okay, so, but does, oh, yep, so that's only good for artillery. Hold on. Now, we can use the attacker, or these guys, yeah. So so he's already been activated first and foremost, so it's Hooker. He's going to use his +1 modifier. So basically what that does is that negates his -1, so he's doing a straight roll. So let's go ahead. So we are going to roll now for. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we're going to roll for Lawton. It's a straight roll. Let's see, what does he roll? He rolls a 4. Okay, so he rolled a 4. He has a 4 there. So no hit there, so nothing happens. Now he has to roll, and he gets a. Wait a second here. Give me a second. So he will. This will only work as a. I'll have to look this up. +1 to my roll. Okay, so if he rolled a 4. Okay, yeah, so that'd be a +1 to my roll. So he still gets the +1. So that would make it a 5. So he would have to take a step loss, and he needs to retreat 1 hex. Now, I have a -1, and he threw this in there to make me have a +1. So that means I am rolling straight. So I have 2 units. So we're going to do it this way. The black die is for the first one. The gray die is for the second one. Straight rolls. They're both below 4. One's a 4, one's a 3. They're both 3. So he can move forward. Now, he can move in to advance after combat. Not too bad. So there we go. We've had our first attack. Not too bad. Okay. So now I'm going to draw again. So I actually only have one or two more to go here. So Taliaferro, not so much. Let's see here. There we go. Taliaferro. So I have been told, and from the research, it's not Taliaferro, it's Tolliver. Don't get it. But so we're gonna roll real quick. He rolls a 2. A 2 is equal to 4 movement points. Tolliver has 4 movement points. So we're going to bring him down here. We're going to activate this one. 2, 3, 4. No problem. Can get everybody in here. Now, I want to try to get attacked him. The only problem is 1, 2, 3, 4. It doesn't work so well. And this would be a disadvantage. This would be either 1-to-1 at the best case, or 1-to-2. I'd have to check the rounding on that. But obviously Yule needs some help. So we're going to go 1, 2. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. That one's done. Really don't want to do combat yet. Now, actually, when I do pull combat, all of these units can actually combat into this one. So all of these can go in. But I already know the last chit is going to be the Light Brigade, which don't know if I'll do too much, but here we go. Roll. It's a 4. A 4 is 8 movement points. They're all the way up here. And right now through turns 1 through 5, I can't finish west of the 2300 of the 2300 column. So I think what I'll do is I'll pull this guy here, go 1, 2. He's gonna go there. Let's see here. 1, 2. Up. Is that a slope or? Steep hillside. Movement cost is nothing. Or you can't use it. You can't go up a steep hillside. Oh, that's just okay. Just a hill. So woods would be 2. So we can go 2 and then 3. And then I need to pull this guy. 1, 2, 3. 4. I'm gonna move him right there. That way I've got both of these guys covered pretty well. If they tried, they wouldn't have an issue. Now I'm gonna pull my combat chit. So we're gonna calm down here. Used. Throw that one in the AM. Okay. We're definitely gonna be using this guy here. Now, remember all that they can go through. Okay, so this is actually gonna work out pretty well. So these 3 are gonna attack on this one. It's unfortunately not a flank attack. There's two ways to have a flank attack. First, if there are 4 or more attacks, or if, like this guy was this way, you could have a flank attack, which would reduce 2 off of those. No, unfortunately not. But we do have 5 to 4. Their woods has nothing. Just double checking. Yes. Oh, artillery allowed. No. Artillery is not allowed in the woods. Target hex or hex. So he cannot actually use this one. Although I think they go off through the next one. So it's going to be, we're going to go with 1-1. Now 1-1, they could still lose all theirs. Defender always goes first. There is no modifiers, blah, blah, blah. So straight rolls. Do this. Black one is Carr, and the gray one is Grover. Carr, Grover, just like that. Okay, let's see here. Ah, good. 4 and 3, so these guys are okay. Now, each one of these 3 guys has to go. So we're going to start with Stark. Starkey. 6, not good. He has to flip and retreat 2 hexes. Ah, 6 also. Eliminate. So he's eliminated. I gotta look at the victory points. So, and then this guy. So 3, he's fine. So that was not successful at all for the Confederates. Okay, I'm going to read this out loud just so I've got this. So, casualty. Both players get 1 victory point per eliminated step. To simulate that the 6 score was almost no action, so almost no action, the 6 scores are worth 2 points per step loss instead of the normal 1. Replacement steps subtract the opponent's victory points. Okay, so we'll get to that. So I eliminated 2, so that's going to be 3 because it's steps, not units, so it's steps. So 1, 2, that one's 3. So that's 3 victory points for the Union player. So good to go there. Now that is that. So the retreat phase. So the retreat phase, pretty simple. If your units are next to a unit that is at a higher elevation and you're in clear terrain, which he's not, you have to retreat 4 hexes. So just to demonstrate this, we're gonna put that there, that there. In this case, Hooker here would have to move it 4 points. Would have to go 4 hexes. 1, 2, 3, and then if he can't, he has to take a step less. So that's what that is. So that's pretty simple. So I'll put him here, and then let's go back here if I remember right. 2, 3, 4. Yep. Okay. He's there. Okay, so now we do game of end turn phase. Okay, we would check for automatic, but you only check for automatics on turn 7, 12, and 17. So we are on turn 2. Now, we've got this going through. So we're going to change all the combats. So let's kind of move this back out and then go from there. I'm going to have to cut these because I kept hitting the stop button. So put these out, and then I have to take these AMs. Oh, the AMs go in there. So we got to take these 3 here, put them in there, and then I only had 1 here. So there's that. We're just going to put that to the side because that's not a clean job. So far, Hooker's been pretty good getting these guys moving. They've already lost 1 unit. And so that's pretty good on that one. Now, we'll see how it goes. So we are now on to turn 2. I do have some stuff, but I want to put this turn up just in case I screwed up and you guys see a rules violation or something I did wrong. So I'm going to put this turning, so it's early morning, turn 1, August 28th. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.